Good morning to all. Today I am going to talk about water gas shift reaction and Fischer-Tropsch reaction. What is that importance? We will discuss about. These two reactions are important in the production of gasoline, which is the primary source for fuel. So how it is developed, let us discuss in this. So coming to the water gas shift reaction and Fischer-Tropsch reaction. So both reaction involve the uniqueness, that is it involves the redox chemistry of carbon monoxide. Both is going to talk about the redox chemistry of carbon monoxides. So one is the water gas shift reaction. It affects the oxidation of carbon monoxides. So normally it is in presence of water and iron and copper catalyst. So temperature always above 200 degrees centigrade. In both cases it is going to involve the heterogeneous catalyst. Then it will give the hydrogen and carbon dioxide. So water gas shift reaction basically help for the production of hydrogens. That is a major source for the water gas shift reaction. The hydrogen is going to be utilized in the Fischer-Tropsch reactions. So in the case of Fischer-Tropsch reaction, it is going to discuss about the reduction of carbon monoxide. The reduction of carbon monoxide involves the carbon monoxide and hydrogens in presence of catalyst. Again the iron copper based catalysts are going to involve. We will discuss later in details, and gives that gasoline, diesel and LPG like liquefied petroleum and other products. So these two important reactions which will help to produce the gasoline, and particularly the water gas shift reaction is help to produce a hydrogen, which is the primary source for the Fischer-Tropsch reactions, and it gives the gasoline. And importantly, this both reaction involves C1 chemistry, that is a carbon monoxide as a source for this reaction, both reactions. And we know that from the carbon monoxide there are a variety of chemicals like methane, ethylene, propylene has been produced, which are basically obtained from natural gas or cracking. Okay, they are the basic raw material for the various organic reaction. Okay, basic raw material for the various organic reaction. And all this process based on the C1 building block, that is a carbon monoxide is the building block for this all this case. And this is a component of the synthesis gas, that is a what is called as a synthesis gas, that is it's generated from the natural products. And first let us talk about in briefly water gas shift reaction. So as I said that CO is the component of synthesis gas, and this can be obtained by different way. Either it can be controlled combustion of crude oil, or reforming of natural gases, or coal gasification. So in all the cases you are getting that carbon monoxide and hydrogen, that is nothing but synthesis gas. The water gas shift reaction also used in industry to generate hydrogens. So in particularly the synthesis gas, when it go for Fischer-Tropsch process, we need a hydrogen concentration will be higher. So for that the water gas shift reaction is used, and it is enrich the hydrogen concentration in the Fischer-Tropsch process. Besides, it also help for the reducing power of CO. Then it also in the Haber-Bosch process, that ammonia synthesis also, this hydrogen is most important component. In this also the water gas shift reaction is used to generate or improve the hydrogen concentration. So these are the several occasions hydrogen generation has been used by water gas shift reaction, and we will talk about catalytic aspect. So in generally it involves very high temperature. So normally the reaction involved with the help of the what is called as a heterogeneous catalyst. Although it is heterogeneous catalyst, but still we are discussing in the organometallic catalyst part. Why? Because during the reaction there is a formation, mostly this catalyst involve the metal or metal oxides in or metal on the metal oxide support or some oxide supports. So this metal is going to coordinate with the carbonyl and forming the metal carbon bond. So that is why we are discussing in the organometallic aspects, we are discussing this kind of catalyst. So this, although it involves very high temperature, based on the reaction temperature, it has been classified into low temperature heterogeneous catalyst and high temperature heterogeneous catalyst. The low temperature heterogeneous catalyst involves the alumina as the support, and copper oxide and zinc oxide as a catalyst and promoter. And when it's used high temperature heterogeneous catalyst, iron oxide as a catalyst and magnesium oxide as a promoter in presence of chromium oxide as a support. So overall the reaction produces hydrogen, and in particularly the mechanism of this process, all these heterogeneous catalysts can be understood via the or through the homogeneous catalyst. Okay. So water gas shift reaction proceed by the nucleophilic addition of carbonyl groups. So the probable pathway will be the first metal center in which carbon monoxide is going to coordinate and forming the metal carbonyl bond. So once this metal carbonyl bond is formed, then there will be a nucleophilic addition of the nucleophile which lead to the what is called as a metal carbonyl nucleophilic added product, we will get it. Then the mechanism aspect, as I said, that we can understand with the help of the homogeneous catalyst. Some of the homogeneous catalyst which is used in the laboratory level, they are not in the commercial level, they are in the laboratory level. So like rhodium carbonyl, like rhodium plus 1 complex and rhodium plus 3 complex carbonate complex and iron carbonate complex, these are the catalysts used for the water gas shift reaction in the homogeneous level under the laboratory level. So it's helped to understand the mechanism aspect. So as I said that the metal carbonyl is there, the first step is it's a carbon monoxide insertion. So once the CO insertion is there, then there will be a hydrated anion is going to be generated with from the catalyst center, which is the hydrated anion is going to be abstracted by the water molecule and it generates a hydrogen and the hydroxyl anion. Then this hydroxyl anion is going to be incorporated between the metal carbonyl bond and forming the carboxylate intermediate. So this carboxylate intermediate will decompose carbon dioxide and regenerate the catalyst. So this is one possible way how the water gas shift reaction is proceed. So the basic steps you can see that there is a metal carbonyl insertion, that is one of the important steps. Then other way, first step is where the hydrogen can be hydrated complex of iron can be formed by interaction of this anionic complex with water and the liberation of hydroxyl anion. Then hydrogen going to be liberated and then the tetrahedral intermediate will be formed. Then carbonyl is going to be inserted into the iron center, that is a vacant iron center. Then hydroxyl ion is going to be inserted between the iron carbonyl metal carbon bond and forming the carboxylate intermediate. Then once again this carboxyl intermediate lose the carbon dioxide and regenerate the active species. So this is a possible way of the water gas shift reaction proceed on the homogeneous catalyst. In the heterogeneous catalyst also similar aspect is going to be adapted. That is what the mechanism aspect has been understood through the homogeneous catalyst. The basic step is the carbonyl insertion into the metal carbon bond, that is carbonyl insertion, and then the hydroxyl group is going to be inserted between the hydrogen is going to be inserted between the metal carbon center. Okay, and the overall this reaction we are going to generate hydrogens. So hydrogen is the source for the Fischer-Tropsch process. This is how the. So let's now move on to the Fischer-Tropsch reaction. So this is invented in petroleum poor countries like or the coal rich countries like Germany. In 1920s it has been invented for the what is called as a to generate the liquid fuel from the carbon. So it is developed by German researchers, that is two famous researchers, Franz Fischer and Hans Tropsch. They are the one who developed this process in 1923 and it has been commercialized in 1936. And it is used by Germany and Japan during the World War for the fuel generation. And the fundamental aspect of this process is that it involved the high pressure hydrogenation of carbon monoxide over metal or transition metal carbide catalyst. So the reaction proceed via the reductive polymerization. The reaction is going to be proceed via reductive polymerization, and the process lead to the oligomeric product like a saturated and unsaturated branched or unbranched hydrocarbons or alkanes. These are the things we produce. In the process, we will get a three major kind of fuels. We will get one is LPG, that is liquefied petroleum gases, having the hydrocarbon having the chain length of C3 to C4, that is a propane, butane, isobutane and their mixture. They are all called as a liquefied petroleum gases, LPG. Then another one is a gasoline, which is a mixture of volatile flammable liquids, hydrocarbons derived from petroleum, and in this case it is derived from carbon monoxide by the Fischer-Tropsch and Fischer-Tropsch process and used for a fuel for internal combustion, in particularly petroleum industry or petrol as a used as a petrol in the motor vehicles. So they are like C5 to C12 hydrocarbon. Then the higher hydrocarbon chain length product called as diesels, which is basically in the crude oil, it's come from the fractional distillation of crude oil. It comes in the range of 200 to 300, 350 degrees centigrade at atmospheric distillation, having the hydrocarbon, that is alkane and alkene kind of hydrocarbons, having the chain length, hydrocarbon chain length from C9 to C25, that is like nonane, decane, dodecane, like that, C9 to C25 hydrocarbons, and they are all called as a decel. And these all the product normally get from the crude oil, but the coal rich country like Germany or South Africa, they have developed from that Fischer-Tropsch process to generate all these chemicals by the Fischer-Tropsch process. And here the catalyst used is iron, cobalt and ruthenium are the most widely catalysts used. And alkali metal oxide has been used as a promoter. Essentially it is help for the dispersion of metal center, and it help for the stabilization of the catalyst. So it help for the good catalytic performance. In Fischer-Tropsch process, basically it involves two major catalytic functions. One is CO carbonyl bond activation and dissociation, and second one is formation of carbon-carbon bond and carbon-hydrogen bond. So these are the two major process which is going to involve in the Fischer. So when you do the Fischer-Tropsch reaction, there are different types of reactions are going to happen. These are the sum of the major reaction, these are the sum of the minor reaction. When you talk about major reaction, when carbonyl and hydrogen is going to involve, we will get an alkane. When the hydrogen is rich, when the hydrogen is relatively less, then you will get an alkene. And then there are, with the presence of water, there will be also water gas shift reaction to generate carbon dioxide and hydrogen. And the side reactions, because it contain carbonyl have the oxygen moiety, because of the side reaction, you also get some oxygenated product, that is alcohol, you will get it some minor quantity. Besides this, there is another minor reactions which is used to happen in the side reaction, that is called as a Baudet reaction. It's a Baudet reaction is basically formation of carbon. It is basically when there is a carbon deposition is going to happen, then the catalytic active species is going to be blocked, or it is going to be coking. It is called as a coking, carbon deposition called as coking. It is basically deactivate the catalyst. So it is a Baudet reaction is not a favorable reaction, but these are the some of the side reaction also proceed along with the major reaction. And importantly, the nature of the product depends on ratio of hydrogen by carbon monoxide. When the hydrogen by carbon monoxide is rich, high, what do you get it? You will get a more of hydrocarbons or saturated hydrocarbons. When the hydrogen by carbon monoxide is less, what you will get it? You will get a alkenes and oxygenated product. So it is important to have the hydrogen rich environment. That is what here the water gas shift reaction is play a vital role, because the presence of water gas shift reaction simultaneously or coupled with the Fischer-Tropsch reaction will facilitate to get a better gasoline production, because the gasoline is the most value added product in this process. And overall process can be schematically represented like this, because this is a Fischer-Tropsch reaction, although it is a simple reaction for conversion of carbon monoxide and hydrogen into alkane, alkene and other things. Based on the product, it has been classified into different category. It is basically, it involves a multi-step reaction process. The first step is you generate a synthesis gas, that is by controlled combustion of either petroleum or reforming of natural gases like methane, or coal gasification. Coal gasification, which it is wherever there is no crude oil, they will do with the coal gasification, coal into gaseous product like carbon monoxide and hydrogen. So and same way naphtha into hydrogen by the reforming process. So overall you generate the carbon monoxide and hydrogen. So they are all called as a synthesis gas mixture. When they get from the crude oil, they will have a lot of impurity like hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, tar, slag. They all first step they will be purified or removed and get a pure synthesis gas mixture, which has been sent it to the Fischer-Tropsch synthesis reactor. So in the Fischer-Tropsch synthesis reactor, where the reaction is going to happen, that is carbon monoxide and hydrogen is going to be interact and give that product. The product have the combination of ethylene, propylene, naphtha, LPG, diesel, gasoline, everything will be there. So it will be initially the lighter hydrocarbons will be separated like ethylene, naphtha. That naphtha is a hydrocarbon with a lighter chain, that is smaller chain length. Then LPG you know that liquefied petroleum gases having the C3, C4 component. So all will be separated, and then whatever the methane and water formed will be send it back to, it is called a reforming reactor, in which it will be again converted into CO and hydrogen, and it will send it to Fischer-Tropsch process. So this cycle is going to be repeated here. Then the heavier hydrocarbons will be further catalytically hydrotreated or hydrocracking process will be going to happen, which gives that gasoline, that is a hydrocarbon having the chain length in the range of C5 to C9, and diesels are C2, actually gasoline is a C12 and diesel will be C9 to C25 hydrocarbons chain length, all will be get it and then used as a valuable product. And where there is a wax is the heavier hydrocarbons which has the higher viscosity. So all this product formation is depends upon the hydrogen concentration, which is determined with the help of the what we call as a water gas shift reaction. And here the catalytic part, the catalyst part involved initially they have used cobalt and thorium oxide on magnesium oxide as a promoter and silica gel as a support. Initially the reaction has been carried out at 170 to 200 degrees centigrade at 1 bar, and it gives that the syngas can be converted into 50% petrol and remaining are diesel and waxes. So waxes and diesels are not so economically interesting. So the main interesting is petrol. So efficiency only 50%. Then there is another company called Sasol plant, which has been developed by South African coal sources, and they have used different types of reactor like slurry, fixed bed and fluid expect reactor. So all these things we will see that later stage what is that one in industrial catalyst process. So normally these are the some of the type of catalyst as reactor has been used by the Sasol. They use a coal, that is a carbon coal as a source, and when they use that they use iron based catalyst, iron oxide based catalyst at relatively high temperature, that is 320 to 340 degrees centigrade at 25 bar. What they able to get it, they could able to get a 70% petrol and remaining is a diesel and waxes. So they could improve the efficiency of the formation of petrol, or what you call as a gasoline. Gasoline is nothing but petrol. So this will help to generate most of the motor vehicles fuels. So in many of the developed countries like Germany, South Africa and many other countries, there more than 50% of their gasoline consumption come from this process. And this reaction, alkali metal promoter are essential to obtain high basicity, and it also helps for stabilization of the catalyst, and also it has improve the metal surface area. So the best well known catalyst used for this process is iron copper silica based system with alkali. Okay. Here the role of individual component, let us see. The main component like silica is the support, which is used as the best support to help to improve the surface area. Then higher alkali, normally the alkali is favor the long chain growth of the hydrocarbons, that is we need hydrocarbons from ranging from C4 to C12 to get a gasoline, because gasoline products are range from C4 to C12. So we need to, the chain length of hydrocarbons should be increases, which is promoted by strong alkali nature of the alkali which we normally use. Normally the alkali also help to dispersion of the metal ions and enhance the catalytic activity, and copper present in the system will help for the reducibility of the carbon monoxide. And once again the mechanism part can be understood with the help of the what we call as a homogeneous catalyst. However, till date there is no commercial Fischer-Tropsch process using the homogeneous catalyst. So some of the homogeneous catalysts used are like rhodium carbonyl based catalysts, which often give the glycol, not as a alkane or not as a hydrocarbons, rather it gives the alcohol or glycol. These are the products is good. So here the examples, that rhodium clusters complex at 300 bar at 250 degrees centigrade, they could able to get a glycol, but the conditions are so vigorous, and moreover they could able to only glycol. So that is why they are not in commercial, but this kind of catalysts help to understand the mechanism aspect. Let us talk about the reaction pathway. First, the reaction pathway, you can see that. So you have the catalyst center having the isolated metal center or metal oxides, or metal center having the vacant sites, in which the carbon monoxide is going to bind and form the metal carbonyl center. Then subsequently hydrogen insertion between the metal carbonyl center, forming the eta 1 formyl complex. So now depends upon the hydrogen pressure, the eta-1 carbonyl complex, rather it will be converted to metal alkyl and then subsequently CO insertion and then subsequent hydrogenation. This step is going to be continued, or chain propagation will give to the gasoline or diesel as a product. Whereas when the hydrogen pressure is less, then there is a eta-1 formyl complex will be converted to eta-2 formyl complex. Then subsequently in presence of hydrogen, then it will form the metal alkoxy complex, and then finally it will give the metal hydride and what is called as a alcohol is a product it gives. That is when the pressure of the hydrogen is less. So that's why the hydrogen pressure is important in these reactions to improve the gasoline production. And there is also possible for methane formation like this kind of reaction whenever, and this formation of the that is conversion of carbonyl to methyl moiety can be confirmed with the help of the cyclopentadienyl zirconium complex. So here is the examples: pendamethyl cyclopentadienyl complex of zirconium, which is in presence of hydrogen in the sunlight at 1.5 bar at 25 degrees centigrade. It gives a metal hydride and methoxy bond. That means it, and then subsequently it goes to methanol as the product. So it is basically it is the organometallic complex in which carbon monoxide will be hydrogenated and give the hydrogenated product. So similarly with the cyclopentadienyl dicyclopentadienyl dihydrogen zirconium complex also show the similar kind of glycol precursor. So this all will support that the reaction is proceed with this kind of reaction mechanism, that is a metal carbonyl coordination followed by hydrogen insertion, proceed with the metal alkyl or alkoxy or other product is going to. And other way of mechanism can be understood with the help of the presence of transition metal carbene complex or carbido or methylene model, in which the carbon monoxide and hydrogen is going to be simultaneously absorbed on the metal surface and then subsequently forming the carbido intermediate. This carbido intermediate is a highly hyperactive, and you have the hydride anions in the metal center, which is going to be interact with the carbido moiety and form the metal alkyl moiety, which are adjacent. Then in presence of catalase, the metal alkyl will be converted to metal alkene, or the chain propagation is going to happen. Then once the beta elimination is going to happen, it lead to the metal alkene derivative. So this is the one of the important steps which involved in the Fischer-Tropsch process, which basically help to produce the gasoline. So we covered Fischer-Tropsch process by which, so almost with this we have covered most of the organometallic catalysts. So we have completed our organometallic part. I will check it if there is anything left out. I will get back to you in the next class. Meantime, you people all go through it. So we will have some kind of interactive session on this Saturday, and then we can have the internal exams on sometime the next week. Okay, thank you very much.